Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I think I had a chance to meet most of you, but if I didn't, my name's Darren Q, and I'm the dean here at the Kroc School. We are very, very happy and excited to have you here tonight. And I know you have a lot of questions, so we want to get started and try to address those as much as possible. I mean, maybe the first question that came to your mind when you were thinking about us is, why go to a peace school? Oftentimes with prospective students, we get comments like, peace school, isn't that stuff like with the UN and, mediation, overseas? And that is part of what we do for sure. But peace is also local. It really starts in our communities, in the workplace, and in the local organizations and the civic action that we do here in our own neighborhoods. And San Diego itself is a microcosm of the world. It's home to so many cultures, located right here on the border between the United States and Mexico, of course, as you know. There's no one ethnic group in San Diego that is over 50% of the total. We are an extremely diverse town. 25% of San Diego residents are foreign-born. Leading countries that they come from: China, Mexico, the Philippines, India. The United Nations is right here in San Diego. We have all of the issues that the world faces: environmental issues, immigration debates, economic shifts, red-blue divides, global security concerns. It's all here. And a peace school in San Diego needs to engage with it. And this is why the Kroc School, like USD as a whole, is committed to expanding our role in our local community. And we want to do this by providing more service to our partners here in San Diego. Our Institute for Peace and Justice, our Center for Restorative Justice, our academic programs are all looking to provide more evaluation assistance to local partners, dialogue, mediation, restorative justice support to community partners. Our social innovation program is working with local partners to improve their impacts through entrepreneurial solutions. We have so much going on here that's working with the local community. And much of this is, an increasing amount of it also, is through our students who do practica and internship opportunities and work throughout San Diego. And we are only expanding those opportunities, and we're working with more and more local partners to bring those opportunities to bear. And first and foremost, we learn from our local partners. The experience in this room, just among each of you that I've had a chance to meet, just underscores there's so much really important work happening here in San Diego. And our mission as a peace school is really to try to meet community partners where they are as much as possible and try to see how we can help you level up by learning from what you're doing. And this is why we started the Community Fellows program and this fellowship. We need more of you. We need folks from the private sector, from government, from nonprofits, folks that bring this incredible experience and enthusiasm to move us to the next level. So come join us. We really need you here. The world needs you here now. I don't need to go through the litany of probably what you read in the newspapers today and the previous day in terms of all the problems that the world faces and that here in San Diego that we face. I guarantee this is a conversation we have here every day at the Kroc School, thinking about what are we going to do about it? How can we do it? How can we make things change? And we have the finest faculty and staff here to really help you to make these conclusions. So starting with tonight, I want to turn to two of my faculty colleagues, Professor Paula Cordero and Professor Jake Wild-Crea, to tell you about the two programs for which the Community Scholars Fellowship can be used. Let me turn to Paula first. Paula, would you like to come up and tell us a little bit about the program?
I'll just stand here on the edge. So I have, usually I can speak loud enough. So Hillary has asked me to talk about four things: why the MASI program, what you're going to learn in the program, what kind of networking we do, and what kind of jobs our alums get. So why the MASI program? We're dealing with, just like many other programs in the school, but we're dealing with complex, multi-sector problems because employers are increasingly asking for people who can think systematically, who can work across cultures, who can lead change from any seat, skills that we emphasize in our program. And as we all know, the future of work is impact-oriented. So, MASI has to be applied and practical. It has to be experiential. It's interdisciplinary, and it prepares people for the jobs I'll be telling you about. So we have classes, welcome. We have classes called Social Innovations, the Social Innovation Program, Social Entrepreneurship, Leadership in Organizations, Impact Evaluation, and we have a practicum where people are doing a consulting project for either a nonprofit or for what we call Business for Good, a for-profit organization. We also have a certificate. So no matter what program you're in, you can also get a certificate in social entrepreneurship, which is 4 classes. It's 10 credits. It's 3 of the classes, 2 of the classes I described, and plus one called Reimagining Capitalism. Social entrepreneurship is a design thinking 1 credit, and then there's a practicum experience. So that's a little about the program. For networking for the program, so it's our partners. So who are our partners? We are having in the spring a conference in this building, and the conference, I don't want to use this, I can talk about it. The conference is called Business for Good. So there are about 125 small, medium-sized businesses in San Diego County. They're growing all the time. And they want to do business where they treat their employees well, where they are looking at their environmental impact, etc. They're small. So they've gotten together. They make a lot of policy decisions. They just helped raise the minimum wage within the city of San Diego. So that's one of our key partners, Business for Good conference here in the spring. Another partner is an organization we work with. The event is called Cultivating Impact. It's held in Encinitas. It's all of the nonprofit organizations that go there for socializing. They're going to Coastal Roots Farm. But at those events, and my colleagues and I often go to them, and our students, we introduce people, if you are looking at the nonprofit sector in particular, because we're connected to the nonprofit sector. We also work with an organization called San Diego Be Local. They are companies that have a certification. It's called a benefit certification. They, again, look at people and the planet as part of their impact. Very, very rigorous certification. We partner with Cause San Diego. Cause, they have an annual conference, they have other networking and professional development events. This is all 3 sectors that you might find at Cause. Our school, here, we received the Social Impact Award this year from them. And some of the students who you will meet tonight were at the conference. We also, I just went up to San Francisco with one of our students to attend the Social Capital, SOCAP conference. Cost a bit more because we had to go up there, but we were able to support him from the Graduate Student Association plus a scholarship. So we are connected in this community to many of the key organizations where people are going to get jobs. So where do our students get jobs? I've been here 5 years, so I was thinking about where is everybody? So I took some notes and I put them into 6 categories. So people are in the nonprofit NGO sector, mostly in California, but we have people around the world. Matter of fact, I just saw Momo, a gentleman up on one of these, and Momo is out of Cameroon. So in the nonprofit sector, people become program managers, program directors, impact managers, community engagement directors, training and capacity type roles. They could work in local nonprofits, international nonprofits, community development organizations, youth organizations. The second category is social enterprises, purpose-driven businesses. Titles of positions that students have: social enterprise founder or co-founder, sustainability specialist, corporate social responsibility manager, human-centered design specialist. And the kinds of companies are those benefit corporations I was talking about. Also worker-owned companies, such as co-ops and there's other forms. And then we have some people who are in climate and clean tech startups. Third category is government. We have some people who are policy analysts, community development coordinators, civic engagement or equity officers. They are working in city or county agencies, state departments. Got one of my favorite students, my first year, an amazing guy. He's working in Sacramento at the State Department. We have public health or agencies that people work in. Fourth category, foundations, impact investing and philanthropy. So someone might become a program officer, a grants manager, a portfolio associate. They might work at a community foundation or with donor-advised funds or corporate philanthropy. We also have a couple of people, fifth category, of consulting. So they tend to work with other people's consulting agencies, and their focus is either on evaluation, DEI, or social impact strategy. And the last category are those people who have started their own either nonprofit or for-profit. I can name at least 6 of them. So nonprofits, social ventures, or they have created community-based programs for organizations. So that's Masi.
Jake, would you like to come up and talk about the Conflict Management and Resolution Master's Program?
All right, I think I'll forego the mic as well. I'm Jake, Wild Korea. So how many of you all studied Conflict 101 in high school or grade school? Well, oh yeah, well, in person.
Not in grade school, in college.
In college, okay. Well, for most of us, we don't actually learn much about conflict. And if you look around in our society, you can kind of see our failure to communicate, to connect, to solve our problems. And so, like, that's what we do in the Conflict Management Resolution Program, is that we kind of roll up our sleeves and say, how do we figure this out, right? Rather than just avoiding it. Because the reality is conflict's inevitable. We don't try to pretend it away, but we really look into it. So, for me, I came to this work after working a long time in the nonprofit world and in the foundation world, the philanthropy world. And I saw over and over again, people trying to make the world a better place and failing because of their ability to deal with the conflict. That's inevitable. It's all around us. And when I look at our students, that's typically who comes to us as well. So we have students that are coming from big conflicts, like international conflict zones, where there's violent conflict. And we have people who are like, you know what, I grew up in a family that didn't know how to talk to one another, and I want to have better relationships with my family, my cousins, and everywhere in between. So we have a lot of local leaders who have been activists or have been working on social justice issues that they care deeply about, and they've seen in their teams, in their community, hey, why did this decision get made, but my community wasn't represented? How did that happen? And so one of the things we do is we look at those processes. How do we make a process where everyone's voice gets heard? How do we create a world that works for me and you and for everyone else? So that's really what conflict management resolution is all about. As far as what the classroom looks like, it doesn't look like this. This is the only time if you want to take my class, this is the only time you'll see me on a stage talking at you. It's very experiential. It's a lot of feedback. It's a lot of learning. It's a lot of working together. A lot of our students are mid-career professionals, so there's a lot of expertise in the room. We learn from one another, but we also engage the theories. Where does conflict come from? So if you come through our program, what you'll look at is being able to diagnose an issue, to really understand what's happening here, then get some different tools of okay, what could I do about it, and then really engage those tools so you have practical skills for how do I go intervene in this conflict that's happening. And we use the word conflict Sometimes it applies, but other times it's just like, how do you run a good team, right? We have folks that come from the hospital system, hospital leaders, for example, that are working on how do we create a healthcare system that works more efficiently. We have folks that come from the nonprofit world, the foundations world, the corporate HR world as well, that want to help organizations work better. And so the classroom's a really interesting space because everyone's coming with their own expertise and their own experience, and we're grappling with these tools together. And so we're all picking up tools to be able to kind of bring back to our unique places. So what do our classes look like? They're highly experiential. You're going to learn the theory, but you're also going to learn how to apply it, right? We, for example, mediation and facilitation. Anyone can go read a book about mediation and know all the policies and the theory behind it, but really it's another thing to do it. And so that's what we do. We run simulations, and we have our students out working as well in the community while they go through our program. So we have students who are community mediators with the National Conflict Resolution Center. They're helping communities right now in San Diego deal with like neighbor disputes, housing disputes, and other things like that. I'm really proud. I just had a couple students of mine do a conflict resolution training for every RA on campus here at the University of San Diego. So you know how to deal with housing disputes, right? It's real world things that you're getting practice in. Paula was very organized in naming all of the categories where students go. I think within CMR, when I look at where students are going, we have a couple different categories as well. Some of them are mid-career professionals. These are folks who've been working for a while, and they're like, man, I realize I gotta deal with people a lot. People are messy, and so I want some skills. And so they'll bring it back to the organization they're already in. This could look like nonprofits, it could look like HR. Some people are coming from that same mid-career, they're like, I wanna pivot. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I want something new. And what I'll say is, I'll say one more thing. And then some folks are brand new in their career, and they're like, I just really care about the world, and I want some skills to be able to deal with this mess that I see around me. And so wherever you're at in your career, what I'll say that I appreciate about conflict management and resolution is that it's a really concrete skill that you can take with you in different departments. So I was partly drawn to it because I found myself pulled towards these different things I care about. And so now, I'll use me as an example. I'm also an alum, by the way, of the program. So using me as an example, I'm teaching, doing conflict resolution with the San Diego librarians, public library, de-escalation training, actually on Friday. I work in the jails, so folks who are incarcerated looking for some more skill sets. I work in the funding world and the nonprofit world, helping bridge communities with resources. Like how do we connect when there's resources and money gets involved to serve our community? I've worked with the teachers unions, and this is all like within this month. So I'm just sharing this as an example of this skill set can really take you into different places. And so some of our students come and they're like, I care about one issue. And they're like, the only thing I care about is this issue, I don't care what I'm doing. And so they spend their whole time figuring out how do we take apart this sticky issue and bring all the skills to work on it. Other ones are just like, I want to help, I care about these things, and they get these skills and apply them properly. So it's really kind of a diverse group of what we look for. And I'll just share this about both of these programs and the experience at the Kroc School. One of the real gifts of it is the personalization and getting to work with professors and with the different staff that are here and getting to support you kind of in a one-on-one way. As Paula shared, like some of our students go on to start companies and they go on to found things, right? And they are able to do that because of the great networks that we're kind of a part of here. And so that's conflict management and resolution.
Okay, now if you're like me right now, you're probably thinking, I'm going to take both those programs. And the good news is there's not like a firewall between the two of them. It's more a question of emphasis for you. So if you decide on the MASI program, you can still take an elective or two in conflict management if you wish. And vice versa, if you're in conflict management, you want to take a couple electives in social innovation, you can do that. So think about it that way in terms of where your emphasis is. And as you're still thinking deeper about that, I want to shout out to, where's Hillary Beggs right here, right? And then Kyla Fisher back there. So these are admissions folks. They can help guide you through some of these questions. And of course, in addition to Paula and Jake, who are available for questions as well as you're trying to think about these decisions. In addition, we decided to bring the experts themselves to join us tonight, some of our current community fellows to tell you a little bit about their experience with the program so far. So can my 5 fellows come up and join me here on stage, and we'll introduce ourselves. We have Maria Alyssa Abayar, we have Rachel Chapa Porto, Tamara Craver, Jesus Martin Gallegos Munoz, and Rosa Oscagoya Vidal. The 5 of them are our current community fellows and come from very diverse backgrounds. And I will ask each of them to introduce themselves. Tell us just which organization you are currently with, or you were with when you joined us. And tell us a little bit about what you're hoping to gain from this fellowship, or gaining from the fellowship while you're here. They're all in their first semester, so it's early days. Would you like to start us off? Just on the left here?
Sure, why not? Hi everyone, buenas tardes. My name is Jesus Martin Gallegos Munoz, he, him, él pronouns. I work as a community organizing coordinator at the Chicano Federation of San Diego County, and I'm also a board member of Rice San Diego, another local nonprofit here in San Diego County. Why I came to this program? Before taking this role at the Chicano Federation, I used to represent asylum seekers in immigration court with this other nonprofit here in San Diego called Al Otro Lado. I noticed how the problem was just surging, and people are going to keep coming. People were coming, and people were just like being dropped at the Iris trolley station and throughout the county. It was horrible to see. Immigration is my passion. It's what I invest my time and passion in. And I completely believe that people should have the right to immigrant, but I also believe that people should immigrate if they choose to do so, not to be forced to immigrate and leave their countries. The reason why I wanted to join this program is because I want to have the knowledge on what the issues are abroad, and have the skills so I can go to these other countries and not give them any knowledge or anything, but rather work on the ground and learn from these individuals and see what are the ways that we can fix the local issues so that people are not forced to leave their countries. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll come back to Jesus Martina. I'll have a question for you in a moment. We'll come back to everyone. But Tamara, please go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Tamara Craver. I'm the president and CEO of a nonprofit called Reality Changers, where we support first-generation students to become first-generation college graduates. I'm also on the board of the Association of Fundraising Professionals, and I'm also on the board of Lead San Diego. And when I thought about why I wanted to come to this program, in the work that I do, I serve the first-generation communities and the students and families, and realizing that higher education is under attack. And I wanted to not just be kind of pushing just the everyday, I wanted to be able to move the needle in a different way. And with food insecurity and housing insecurity affecting the population of families that I serve, I wanted to learn more about food insecurity issues and housing insecurity, and that's different from what I do every single day at my job. And so this program really spoke to me about being able to sharpen my tools to be able to be a better resource for the community that I serve.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Maria Alyssa. I just go by Alyssa. I am a program manager at United Way of San Diego County, where I create and I run STEM and arts career programs for youth in Southeast San Diego. I partner with local organizations and schools to expose students to careers and help build confidence in their strengths. I think my North Star in this field and in my work has been the belief that economic opportunity shouldn't depend on where a young person grows up. And what I've been seeking from being in this fellowship are just tools and frameworks that will help me be more intentional and more innovative in the way that I leave an impact in the community.
Thank you.
everyone. I'm Rosa Lasclara Vidal. I am the Deputy Chief of Strategic Initiatives for Councilmember Shawnee Lo Rivera, District 9 for the City of San Diego. When I applied, I was the Vice President of Community Development and Policy for City Heights CDC. And initially when I was applying, I was in the nonprofit space. I have had experience both in nonprofit and government, and I kept going back and forth on what I wanted to continue to learn and study. I started my career right off after my undergrad, so I never had the chance to think about school. I had to work, I had no choice. But I also was very intentional of like taking my time on what kind of program was actually gonna change my thought or like bring something new to me and add value to me. And when I heard about first the fellowship and then I heard about the school, going to school in a peace school, that's different. And I honestly didn't know anybody else that has gone through this experience. So I honestly just saw myself here and I took it and I took this opportunity and that's how I got here.
Thank you. This should still be on, right? Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Chapo Porto. I have kind of two hats I come to this program with. I'm the Community Building Director at the San Diego Food System Alliance. Been there for 7+ years now, and I also am the co-president of a small nonprofit called Love Linda Vista here in Linda Vista. You're in Linda Vista now if you didn't know, that supports the community through hosting the Linda Vista Farmers Market and a lot of other program and cultural programs in the community. And for me, what really brought me to this program is I have been working in a very niche area of local food systems for a long time, and so I was really looking to deepen my knowledge in honestly really like economics and economic justice and like really thinking past just the nonprofit world that I've been in, because we've been moving into areas where we're looking for solutions and other ways of supporting our farmers, fishermen, food businesses that we work with that are like friendly capital options, and like other models of governance, like cooperatives, and really just kind of transforming the way that we look at businesses for good, as Paul would say, and really thinking about that differently. And so I was looking for an opportunity to like actually get some technical skills and knowledge in these like very specific things. And so the Mossy program actually fit really perfectly into that, and it benefits both the work I do in my day job and with the local economy right here in Linda Vista.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to jump around a little bit with a couple of follow-up questions for folks, and I think we'll have time if you all want to ask any questions of our panel here. Rosa, first of all, I want to apologize. I mispronounced your last name. I introduced you. Thank you for your patience. So you told us a little bit, what drew you to the Social Innovation Program. Maybe you could just say a little bit more about your thought process in terms of why you chose it. Maybe in terms of were there other programs you were weighing this against? What were some key things you were looking for in a program and why you chose Mossy?
Yeah. So for the longest, I wanted to do Master's in Public Administration, but I was already working in government. And I was just like, what is that going to do? If I'm already learning how to do and manage government experiences, and I was working for a supervisor at the time, then I really wanted to do urban planning and city planning. But my policy areas were transportation and housing, and I was already doing the work and working on the plans. And I was just like, there is no skills that I felt was going to add in my purview and my work. However, for this program, the uniqueness of having it blended in with nonprofit, business, and philanthropy, and having all my worlds combined in government, that was what drew me specifically to this one. Because I was in the back and forth, going to nonprofit, going to government, and I'm very fortunate enough that the opportunities come up. Folks ask me hey, would you join my team? And I'm like, yes, I want to learn, and I'm always a person to learn and try new skills and challenge myself. This program specifically had all the different components of the world in San Diego that I want to be part of. I'm born and raised in City Heights. I want to stay in San Diego for the rest of my life as long as I can. And the fact that I'm exposed and will be working with organizations that I already know of, but I don't know how they operate or I don't know what they do. And also, I'm a Reality Changers alumni, so it's really cool to do this. And also, I was very interested in learning on the other fellows that were also going to be part of this, because these are also people in my network, but maybe we just never had the opportunity to learn from each other.
That's great, thank you. Rachel, you were just telling us a bit about your work in Linda Vista. Would you say a little bit more about, I mean, how is this program that you're in already shaping or supporting the work that you're already doing?
Yes, I love Linda Vista. I'm a resident of Linda Vista too, I should say, so I'm all about Linda Vista. And yeah, I think the work so far, I mean, just one semester in, obviously it's still kind of developing some of those relationships, but even just kind of being welcomed into USD, I already had a lot of connections with the school and a bunch of departments just from the support that USD has always provided to the Linda Vista Farmers Market. And since then, it has really just like the collaboration and network has grown. We've really been able to strengthen a lot of those relationships now that I am like more integrated into the campus and at USD, and even through some of my classes and just connections with different colleagues and fellows and ways that we can collaborate together to really strengthen the community and kind of make our impact go beyond the farmers market, and also, you know, be able to hold other programs and really just get the community a little bit more connected with what we're doing and be able to serve the community more. So yeah, so far collaboration, I think.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, Jesus Martin, the same question for you. I mean, how is the conflict management and resolution program supporting and strengthening the work that you're engaged in the Federation or elsewhere?
Yeah, thank you. Now that I'm fairly new to the Chicano Federation. I've only been here for about 10 months now. The work that I do is mainly around policy, government relations, and program development. As it relates to advocacy, civic engagement, and policy building, this master's program really has helped me a lot in the sense that, yes, it is the work that I had already been doing, but now I know how to read the other individual I'm negotiating with in order to strategize and convince an administration or an institution to vote a certain way. So it really has helped me a lot. As it relates to program development at the Chicano Federation, we developed a restorative and transitional justice program that has allowed us to bring in a lot of the skills that I've been learning here on restorative and transitional justice and apply it into the context of San Diego, into being able to go out into the community and form restorative justice systems in order to heal immigrant and diaspora communities, and to transition our local governments into applying and imposing more laws and ordinances that are true to our immigrant community. Flipping the system from a top-down approach to a bottom-up approach. And that in itself is what I've learned so far in the past 2-3 months that we've been here. So I'm excited to see what else we're going to be able to implement, not only in the Chicano Federation, but in San Diego as a binational region.
Thank you. Okay, Maria, can you tell us a little bit about how the resources at the Kroc School, such as faculty, staff, student organizations, etc., have supported your professional or personal development so far?
Yes, hello. So everyone in the Kroc School has been so welcoming. Everyone from Hillary in admissions, Dean Darren Q, my advisor Paula, everyone has been so welcoming. And Kroc professors in particular have been really challenging me to think more systemically about the communities that I serve in my nonprofit. And you know, I'm asking questions now where not only I'm serving high schoolers, my programs are high school oriented, but I'm getting challenged to ask questions about how am I supporting the parents? Like how am I working with potential employers or industry to make sure that the careers that I'm exposing these students to will actually be around when they're of age to be working. So I'm thinking more systemically, I'm thinking more thoughtfully, and something I appreciate about all the professors and staff at Kroc as well is just how available and supportive they've been when I've had any questions throughout the semester. I'm not from Linda Vista, I'm from San Diego, but I'm not from Linda Vista. I was so new to USD. I still remember my first time walking here and just being like, whoa, so pretty, so great. But yeah, it's been so great just having that support. And Rosa kind of touched on it too, but it's also been so amazing being surrounded by fellow change makers of these fellows, but also just like the other classmates and students of the Kroc School. When you are part of the school, you are part of a community of people who care about the same issues that you do. And it's really awesome to not just learn alongside them, but also learn from them.
Thank you. Tamara, what advice would you give to anyone here tonight who's thinking about applying for this fellowship?
One, just do it. I would start there because I hesitated for a moment. The honest truth is a community leader sent me the information and said, oh, Tamara, could you please share this with your network? And so I did. We sent it out to the alumni, sent it to my staff, and then I just went on about my day. And then maybe a week later, she said, hey, were you able to circulate? I said, oh, no, I did. And she goes, well, what I really meant was for you to look at it. And there was a moment like, oh, me? Like, I hadn't thought about me for the program. And it was just an instant moment like, I've been out of college since I graduated from undergrad in 1994. And I've worked really hard to get in the position I am to be a president and CEO of a nonprofit. So I joined a master's program maybe 10 years ago, and I left after the first year because it didn't satisfy what I wanted. It didn't. So I said, if I were ever to do this again, it had to be the right fit. All the stars had to line up, and this truly, every star lined up for the program, the content, what would be learning, the fellowship, all of things lined up perfectly for me. And so, but it also challenged me to think about, outside of my day-to-day role running a nonprofit, what is it that I wanted to learn? What is it that I needed to feel complete or whole? But I'm also thinking about what that means for the community that I serve and my students, that one, it's never too late to go back to school. Sometimes I feel like, oh my God, I'm the oldest person in class. But it's been awesome, to be quite honest. And so thinking about what is the thing that you're passionate about, what is something that you want to learn, and focus on that will help not only with your career, but with you personally. And so for me, like I said, it was the food insecurity and housing insecurity that my students and families face, and that's something that I wanted to focus in on because I don't get to do a lot of that in my day-to-day job. And so so I say, when you're looking at the application, what speaks to you, and talk about what innovative thing that you want to do to change the community, change the world.
Thank you. We've got a few minutes left. I want to be able to have a minute or two if you all want to ask any questions. Maybe before I turn to that, did any of you want to add to the points that one of your colleagues made in terms of, why you chose this, or how it's impacting your current work, the resources you're getting, or advice you want to give? Does anybody want to follow up on something you heard one of the others say, or that inspired you? Good.
I can go. Like Jesus Martin, we're on our first semester, and we've been here maybe 3 months, but it's so amazing the things that I learn or we're able to learn that can just be so applicable. I work at a nonprofit, and I'm fortunate that I'll learn something in class, something that challenges the way I think. We took a design thinking course, for example, and it really allowed me to think about like survey tools, human-centered thinking. So now when I go into work, when I plan out how I'm going to speak to the communities that I serve, like I feel a lot more informed, I feel a lot more confident, and it's because of the coursework and this fellowship and the opportunity it provides.
Please, Rachel.
I think something that just, when you were talking about this being able to think, at a systems level, I work in an organization, my day job that is a system change organization, and I think that being in the Kroc School and having the opportunity to actually pause from the day-to-day work and think a little bit more deeply about the things that we're doing is just really a blessing and opportunity. And even just in this first semester, the amount of things that I forwarded to my coworkers and like, look at this fun that Paula talked about, look at this thing that I learned in this class, is so incredibly helpful and useful. And so now I'm thinking, moving ahead, like what are the ways that I can use my time here at Kroc to really amplify some of the research and work I'm already doing at my job, where we're planning this community fund and this capital work. Let me spend some time researching like microfinancing options, and like really digging deep into some of these things that are going to directly benefit a program we're building. So I think there's just so much value in that, and it'll happen naturally. If you're working and you're here, the connections will just happen.
And
And I want to add on that, I think it's very important, all of our assignments that so far that I have done, that we're doing, I use them for work sometimes too. Like if I have to do some research and I'm like, wait, it's going to be beneficial, I will definitely pick a topic that will also benefit my day-to-day at work. And I don't know if it's clear to you, but we're all working professionals, like all full time, and yes, we're tired, but we have navigated it, and it's really fun, like also going to school and going to work, because it's like applicable every day, but it's also, we're building new schools, we're meeting new people, and it's like we're not going through it by ourselves. Most of us are, kind of just leaning on each other as well.
And I think what I would add is, looking at how you implement it in your day-to-day work. But I think every day that I leave class, I always feel the motto, like, when you know better, you do better. And so what we're learning in our social entrepreneurship class is about B Corps, and it's about doing good and doing better for the world and the environment. And I'll be honest with you, those weren't things that I thought about on a regular day. Just I get up, go to work, I have kids get to college, and that's what I do. But now I'm looking at labels. Are they a B Corp? Are they this? Or I'm not going to buy that now. And so I feel like what I'm taking from this is like, when you know better, you just do better, and then you tell other people about doing better in the world. And so I think I feel really good about that. When I leave class with Paula, I can't go to sleep when I get home, and I'm always very sleepy. 8 o'clock is my bedtime most days, but after class, I find I cannot go to sleep because I'm so excited about what we learned, or I'm like, how am I going to apply that to work? So working full time, I've enjoyed being able to switch hats. Like I come to campus maybe an hour and a half before class starts, just to switch gears, just to mentally switch gears, and meeting these amazing people that I now call friends that, like I know Rosa before, but I didn't know the rest of them before, but I feel like these are now my new friends that I probably would have never met if it had not been for this program. So very, very grateful.
Yeah, and just real quick to open it up to y'all, I guess 2 quick things. The first one is, like you said, just do it. And I'll elaborate on that. In the day and context that we're living in today, where our communities are being bombarded from different angles, what San Diego needs is San Diegans with these skills, San Diegans with lived experiences and shared identities that have these skills to tackle the problems that we're facing here. Because we are the ones who live here, we are the ones who know our communities, we are the ones who know the challenges that we're dealing with, and it should be us, San Diegans, the one who has these skills, so that not so that we can keep them for ourselves, but so that we can change the systems that we're living in to give into our community as a whole. And the second part to what Alyssa, what you were mentioning, this university has such great resources. You will not be alone. You will have faculty, counselors, people that are here for you, and a community that is gonna propel you forward. So, just do it.
Let's do it.
Any questions? We've answered them all? Sure. Don't be shy. Yes, please.
Is this the total number of people that are part of the order, just 5 people? 5 people is the total number? What has it been like, or can anyone of you speak to some of the challenges, switching those hats, like going from an environment that will get you and understand why this is an important topic to maybe an environment where folks don't necessarily get it or agree?
It's interesting that you mentioned the switching hats, which you mentioned, because I do recognize where the question is coming from, and I also had the same, like, I don't know if hesitancy is the right word, but like, oh my God, like when I go to the city or the county, like, are people gonna understand like me talking about peace and restoration and transformation? But the thing is that these are the conversations that need to start happening out there. Yes, like there are people that will not see eye to eye to you, that will say like, well, that's beautiful, it's like an international bird's eye view on stuff, like we are in California, we're in San Diego, this is not the way that we do things, but it should be the way that we do things. And by taking these courses, by being knowledgeable on this and going out into the community and putting this Kroc, but change maker kind of hat on, you're introducing these new concepts into the system and rewriting the system as a whole.
And I want to add to that too. politics is hard in San Diego. And Paula brought up the 25 minimum wage ordinance that was passed. That was my boss that led that charge, and those conversations of even having our council members just vote yes was so hard. And because we understand it in our office, like all of us are very like-minded, progressive folks, but to convince other Democrats to support working families, I think it's crazy that we had to get to that point. That's the whole purpose of us being in those spaces, and for us to even be in this school. It's like we are here because we need to apply those skills in the day-to-day, because a lot of our folks are not in those fields, and a lot of the folks that are making those decisions do not think like us, and it's important for us to be in those rooms.
Other questions? Yes, please.
When it comes to applying and having those conversations with your employers, how did that go, or what advice do you have for getting their support?
I'll go first. Well, kind of my own boss, but I have a board that I report to. I applied and didn't tell anybody, and that was my intention, because I wanted to have my own experience. I wanted to come here and be Tamara Craver. I didn't want to be Tamara Craver, the CEO of Reality Changers, because I am that all the time. I wanted to come here and shift hats, and so I didn't tell anybody. And so, but my board chair did write a letter of recommendation for me, so he knew, but I didn't tell anybody else on my board. And then I had to have a conversation with my staff, because I needed their approval and I needed their support, because it's going to pull me out of some of the day-to-day. And I'm like, I have to know that you guys have this, because if you tell me you don't, then I'm not going to do this. And they were just like, you have to go do this. We need you to do this. And it was a lot of like, I can't do certain meetings now. I don't know, what is it on Wednesday night? Every event in the world is on Wednesday night, and I have class now. And so I've missed a lot of things that I typically do for my job because I'm in class. So there was a lot of balancing, and I think a little bit of fear that if anything happened, if any ball dropped, it was gonna be my fault. Because there she goes, going to school, she should have been here focusing on her job. And unfortunately, I had a student's father who got detained by ICE yesterday when I was in class. And I didn't pay attention to my phone until afterwards, and I felt horrible, because normally I'm always on my phone, I always have it. And I didn't respond to it later, but I could breathe because my team had already responded to it. So I think even this is giving them ownership and power to step up. So I think I got outed at a board meeting about that I had applied and got in. Someone was very excited and told the whole board, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't want that. So like I remember having a conversation with Jake, and I said, my biggest goal here is I want my own experience. I don't want to do this as the CEO. I want to do this for me so that I can take what I learned back and take it back to my job. So it was a tough decision, an emotional decision, but probably one of the best decisions I've ever made for me, because then as I continue to fill my cup up, I'm going to be a better leader for my team.
Other questions? Okay, please join me in thanking our panel. Some final comments for you. First, let me just mention as well is that you heard we've got 5 fellowship slots through this program, but every one of you, if you are admitted, are going to get some sort of partial assistance from us one way or another. It's extremely likely. So Hillary or Kyla can tell you a lot more about some of these other options. So definitely put in your application. We really want to hear from you in that regard. They can tell you a lot more just about the application process itself. The faculty, of course, are here too, and your colleagues or your future colleagues are here to answer some of your questions. Make sure you pick up a postcard with the application fee waiver code if you haven't already. Where are those? Right out the door there? Yep, okay, good. The application deadline, as you've seen, flashing here is February 1st. And so please connect with any of our team or our fellows if you have any questions. So thanks again for making time for coming out tonight. We really look forward to having you here. Thank you for your interest, and we will see you next fall.
Just do it. Just do it.